all-new Dr. Phil. A wealthy widow claims she was conned by a football hero.
He had swindled me out of $3 million.
Clueless victim?
I'm just a little housewife.
Were you in love with him?
I was not.
But you do refer to him as your boy toy.
Or co-conspirator?
Some people say you became Bonnie to his Clyde, calling your friends up for $500,000, and then everything hit the wall, and you put on your Aunt B face and said, I don't know nothing about nothing. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, Anita was once married to the CEO of the popular fast food restaurant chain Wendy's for 25 years. They lived in a lavish home, owned a yacht, hosted extravagant parties, and mingled with celebrities. But this socialite was living a double life of conning and passing bad checks. And it involved this man, a former football star. Take a listen.
Okay, I won't get us the money today, but it's going to take a couple checks from you, okay? One's for and one's for another guy that I know, and he's just going to hold him until I pay him back, okay? Big thanks for helping me, but I'm going to give you part of that money and give the other part to you got a little cash, too, okay?
So I'm supposed to write a check to what?
You need to get on the freeway and meet with Polaris.
What am I meeting him for?
You're giving him a check, and he's taking...
That was part of a wiretap that brought down former Ohio State and NFL quarterback Art Schlichter, who Anita claims not only duped her out of $3 million, but also forced her to scam her friends and former employees out of $500,000.
She's a woman who once had friends all over town, but now they're victims.
We've learned Anita L. Barney is at the center of at least a half-dozen lawsuits saying she owes a bundle of money to people for promissory notes she never kept and tickets she never delivered.
Barney secretly used the money to fuel a ticket scheme involving former quarterback Art Schlichter. Did you swindle anybody, Mr. Schlichter? Schlichter promised to repay Barney for money she lent him on the deal. He allegedly even had Barney take part in the scheme, convincing her to find other quote-unquote investors.
A source close to the case says they were going to take investor money and buy tickets so the investors could then make big profits. All told, Barney's accused of owing more than $360,000.
She said, well, could you lend me $30? I said, well, Nia, I said, that's all I got. That's my life savings. She said, why are you questioning me? I'm not going to mess over you.
I took it from my grandchildren's accounts for college. We are innocent bystanders.
Barney's victims told the judge she was as guilty as Schlichter.
She preyed upon us the same way Art Schlichter preyed upon her.
But I certainly do not want the public to believe that here is a simple old woman who was duped.
Well, now that is the question we're asking during this show. Was Anita really a clueless victim, or was she a cunning co-conspirator? Now, I plan on finding out today in an exclusive interview. But first, here's what she said about Art and really just everything that went down.
Art Schlichter conned millions of dollars from me. I lost my home, my car, and I had to file bankruptcy. I also lost my family and friends. Art was very trustful. He was very convincing. He wanted to borrow $10,000. Art had me writing checks for less than $10,000 so that the IRS would not be suspicious. He started asking for larger amounts. They were $25,000 and $30,000. Then shortly after that, Art asked me for $100,000 to pay people back that he owed money to. I wanted to help him, so there was no persuasion needed. He said that the mafia broke his ribs and they would come after me and maybe my family if I didn't help him get some money to pay them. So he had me terrified. I slept with a shotgun in my closet. He had people following me and watching my condo at all times. He suggested that I get a reverse mortgage. I did get one for $185,000. I never took any of the money for myself. He took all the money. In less than a year, he had swindled me out of $3 million. When Art got all my money, he wanted me to start calling my friends and asking them for money. Art had me tell my friends different stories. He told me to see if any of my friends wanted to buy high state tickets. One story Art had me say was, I need a personal loan. My friends would believe me because I was a very honest person. I ended up getting over $300,000 from my friends. I believed my friends would get their money back, and I was very excited about that because I was going to make my friends money. Never dreaming he was lying. Never. I think of the list of people that I came in contact and borrowed money from, and I feel so guilty. I'm the worst victim. They think they lost a lot. I've lost everything. My reputation, my friends, and my family.
Well, Anita, welcome. We're here talking about a very difficult time in your life. And you've actually written a book about it called Quarterback Sneak. And I didn't just read the book, I studied the book because there's a big question about this, about whether you were part of this scam or whether you were a total victim in this scam, right? You met Art Schleister how?
1980. My husband and 3 other gentlemen and our 10-year-old son flew to Michigan to go salmon fishing for the day. Well, the plane crashed. Everyone was killed except for my 10-year-old son.
He was severely injured on the brink of losing his life. And in walks this hero. He might as well have had a cape blowing in the breeze behind him.
Yes.
And at the time, Art was doing what?
He was a senior at Ohio State. He was a quarterback.
Yeah, they were national power, and it was a big deal, had a big impact.
Very much so. Got him out of his depression. It was beautiful.
So you were very grateful to him, right?
Very much so.
But then you didn't see him again. You saw him 30 years later.
Correct.
At a church.
Yes. I just purchased his book, not knowing I was going to see him for my son's birthday. And so I took the book and asked him to sign it, which he did. And he said, well, how's Alan doing? And I says, well, it's his birthday coming up. I'm having a party. You're welcome to come if you'd like. So I gave him my number to call me. And he did call, and he said, I can't make it, but I would love to get together.
He does call you soon?
Yes. He said, I'd like to bring lunch. So he brought Wendy's. And
he knew you'd been married to the CEO of Wendy's.
I didn't tell him that, but he knew it.
Yeah, he knew it. Okay, and did anything financial happen at that lunch?
He said, I really would like to have a loan of $10,000 if you could loan it to me so that I could buy a car and drive back and forth to Indiana to reestablish relationships with my daughters. And I could not say no, because what he had done for Alan. And I could afford it.
It wasn't long before he asked to borrow $100,000.
That's correct.
He asked for checks below $10,000 to avoid the IRS.
I didn't know that at the time, but yes, that's what I found out later.
And he told you the mafia would go after you if you didn't give him the money.
He told me this one time that some thugs from the mafia just beat him up and broken his ribs. And so he really needed some money to pay them off. And if we don't get the money, they will come after you as well. And I said, but I haven't done anything. I'm not with the mafia.
And he asked you to do a reverse mortgage on your home, which you did. You took out like $180,000.
Yes, I did.
Then, you say, pressured you to borrow money from friends.
Yes.
And then he told you he would have to kill you if you knew what he was investing in.
I was always asking him, what are you doing with the money? And are you getting people paid off like you are telling me that you are doing? And he said, I can't tell you. If I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
You never thought to consult an attorney?
I didn't have one. I couldn't afford one. I didn't have an attorney.
You couldn't afford one?
I had nothing. I was losing everything. And then I was afraid to tell because I didn't know what he'd have somebody do to me. I'm just a little housewife. I really was afraid.
Well, I've done some math, and I've done some research. And I have some things to say to Anita after the break here. You are going to be shocked. People stood up in court and said that very thing. They said, come on,
okay, yes.
do not think this is just some little lady over here that got conned.
You're absolutely right.
She is a con man deluxe, and now she's saying, oh, right? And later,
I would loan him money for a car again.
you would loan this guy money again?
I don't know how to explain myself. I'm sorry.
You can't make sense out of nonsense. That's why you're struggling.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Did she allow her own children?
Did you beat this child when you were angry?
I probably beat them all.
To be alone with their grandfather?
She knew he was molesting us. He was so weak. I didn't think he had the strength. I could be wrong. He was good at what he did.
All-new Dr. Phil. Then on Monday, an exclusive Inside the OJ series.
It's factual. It's not 100% factual.
There are revelations.
I'm seething.
It's shocking.
That's Monday.
It was a story that shocked the Buckeyes and the nation. A football hero taken down by a wealthy socialite for wire fraud, bank fraud, subscribing a false tax return, theft, and engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity. Now, in an exclusive interview, she talks about how she turned the tables on a con artist whom she claims stole her fortune and really destroyed her life. And when we're talking about taking your fortune, we're talking about a lot of money here. These are checks that were given to him by you. November 09 is kind of when this started, $33,000. December, right away, second month, jumps up to $194,580 in the second month of giving him money. January, $90,500. February 2010, $102,104. Wire transfer, $30,500. March 2010, $106,100. April 2010, $255,000. May, $166,400. June, $46,000. August, $55,000. September, $119,000. October, $368,000. November, $108,000. December, $60,000. Then on unknown dates, $173,600 for a total of $1,907,784.
That's horrible. It's horrible.
That is a lot of money. And you say, I didn't have the money for an attorney?
Because I believed.
Is it that you didn't have the money or you didn't think you needed one? There's a big difference.
Okay, you're correct on that. I didn't think I needed one because I supposedly was getting, his attorney was calling me and saying all this money is coming in, he's from his book, and all this money is going to be paying you back.
He comes to your house and within 8 weeks is doing a cashotomy on you of like $300,000 in the first 6 weeks. You've got to tell me at the time, what was your motivation to do this?
I was willing to help him. My husband and I helped a lot of people over the years.
If you're philanthropic about this, then why hide it? Why not tell people? You said, I didn't want anyone to know.
Because he said, if you tell anyone, I will be gone, you will not get your money back, and I will spend it, or you'll never find me ever again. And it's coming in. Just be patient. I got $600,000 coming Monday. Meet me. And I go get it, and it wouldn't be there. And then it'll be another time. So.
Okay, but at that point, don't you go,
Well, I did. And then I'd ask for money. He'd get so angry, and he'd cuss and carry on. And I did not know where to turn because I was so ashamed and embarrassed.
Doesn't it occur to you to say, hit the bricks, bitch? Get out.
I didn't call him bitch, but I did say some words.
I mean,
yes, I did. I did. I agree with you.
And you say you didn't want anybody to know that you were involved with him, but on page 162 of your book, you say, of course there was a bit of excitement when he showed up unexpectedly at my regular Wednesday night haunt to meet my friends.
Wasn't excitement on my part. He was excitement for the people that were there. Oh, here comes Art Schleister.
Were you in love with him?
I was not.
But you do refer to him as your boy toy at one point.
Well, when I went to, people were always in Florida, always trying to fix me up with people. And I just laughed and said, oh, I don't need a boyfriend. I got a, what is it, boy toy, whatever you call it.
That's what you, that's what I call it. It's what you call it.
All right, well, whatever. Sorry, I apologize.
You said at one point he did get a little frisky.
Yes.
And so I thought, well, I'll indulge him. But then when he couldn't perform, I came to my senses.
Yes.
Well, you sigh, you wrote it, I didn't write it.
I did write it. I did. I was just going, rolling my eyes because I did it.
You're telling me that you weren't distracted by having this young quarterback hero pursuing you in some way?
Well, I was single, he was single, and just something happened that night, but really did not happen. We did not have a sexual affair at all. It's embarrassing now that people have to know what I did. I feel so guilty.
The alternative theory that some people have advanced is that you became Bonnie to his Clyde, and you were calling your friends up and setting them up and knocking them down for $500,000. And then everything hit the wall, and you put on your Aunt B face and said, I don't know nothing about nothing.
Oh, I don't think I did that.
But you know that's what people stood up in court and said that very thing. They said, come on, do not think this is just some little old lady over here that got conned.
You're absolutely right.
She is a con man deluxe, and now she's saying, oh, right?
That's right. That's right. That's what they were saying.
He knocked you down for $1.9 million, and you're saying if you needed a car, I would have some controls, but let's get him some wheels. And later,
I worked for her, and I was just thrilled to be able to help her.
You haven't paid her back.
No.
The court ordered you to pay restitution, but you said I shouldn't have to pay anybody back.
This February.
The woman accused of pushing her husband to his death.
I'm a horrible person who could do that.
The stakes are higher.
Your daughter is saying there was a struggle. He stumbled and fell backwards. Did you push him out that window?
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
Emotions run deeper.
You're very critical of the woman that has adopted your baby.
She looks like a stripper.
Olivia's been stalking me.
Bring the restraining order. I'll show you where you blatantly lied in it. Bring it.
You're in her face saying, you lie, you lie, you lie.
She's a saint. We're the bad people. Is that what you're telling me?
Tempers get hotter.
Our neighbors make our life a living hell.
They set a mortar shell under the swing set and tried to blow it up.
That is not true. We are being harassed.
Put her on a lie detector test.
And I want you to do one too because the machine is going to blow up.
And we're just getting started.
I had a traumatized 3-year-old girl saying, my daddy hurt me.
Where is he going to hurt you at?
A child does not say those things unless she was coached.
You cannot coach a 3-year-old. Ask anyone.
That is coaching.
I came here to help my daughter, and you turned this into a giant circus.
I'm done. When we were interviewing you about the book and for the show, didn't you tell us that you would do it again?
I would loan him money for a car again, but that would be no, wait just a minute. But then I would control the situation. But if he would ask me start all over again, I would loan him $10,000, but I would cut it off. I would never give him another penny after that.
You're actually telling me you would loan this guy money again?
I won't.
With controls?
I don't know how to explain myself. I'm sorry.
You can't make sense out of nonsense. That's why you're struggling.
Well,
you would give this man money again? He knocked you down for $1.9 million, and you're saying, if he needed a car, I would have some controls, but let's get him some wheels. It kind of sounds ridiculous when you hear it said back to you, doesn't it?
Yes, very much so. I will not give him any money. I will never see the man again. If he even tries to call me, the law will be called.
I feel better.
And also, well, here's also, I planned to be there saying, do not let this man out. And they asked him how many people he had conned.
You an honest woman?
Yes, I am.
You didn't con those people?
No, I lied. He had me lying to them. He wrote scripts to me, scripts for me to say to these people. And he said, if you don't, it was always, I wanted my money back. And he said, if you don't get money for me to pay these people back, that's what he was always saying. I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be gone.
Okay, so you were willing to throw your friends under the bus to get your money back?
Because I was desperate. I didn't want him running. I didn't want him to leave.
No, finish your sentence. I was desperate.
Yes, I wanted to get my money back, too.
To get my money back.
And I said that.
So you're willing to lie to your friends to get your money back?
Yes.
Well, let's listen to one of the conversations. Just hear this. We'll talk about it. Hear this.
So all you got to do is say, I'm going to put $9,500 in your account Monday morning. Say I ordered money, I'm going to put money in your account Monday morning. I just cannot do it today because I'm not in town. So the money will be available in there Monday morning. I'll go to the bank, give me your account number, and I will, don't tell her I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Tell her you're going to do it.
Okay.
And I'll go deal with her on Sunday if I need to.
I'm doing
it. All right? And you'll call her Monday afternoon. You need her account number. Call her Monday afternoon, make sure she got it, and then make arrangements for the next step. That's all you got to say.
Okay. All right.
That was him telling you what lies to tell them?
Yes. And he had written scripts out for me to say to them as well.
And you said, okay, I'll do anything.
Well, I was working with Undercover then, and they're trying to get me to talk, to lead him on to try to get information about where's the money, what he's doing. So I was lying to him. I was lying to everybody.
That was believable to him because that was typical of your conversations.
Yes, he'd ask me on occasion if I was wired, and I said, why would I be wired? And are you doing something wrong that I should be wiring you?
Okay, a guy's taking money from you, hand over fist, and asking you if you're wired, and nothing clicks. It says, you know what? I need to go talk to somebody.
But it was clicking. I knew it was starting to set in, yes, and that's why I eventually said the only way to stop this is to call the authorities, and I did.
If you're writing this book because you're wanting people to know what really happened, right?
I'm trying to, yes.
And tell me what was behind the decision of, like, showing this big, massive house that you lived in and the yacht, and you went through and you talked about being in the Ed Sullivan Theater when the Beatles performed, and in the picture here with Eddie Fisher and Vice President Bush and Regis Philbin, and flying around on private jets with Henry Mancini and all of these people, and that doesn't sound like just a little old housewife.
Over the years, people have wanted me to write a book about the life that I led, and this is before I ever met Bob even, and I never would do that because I felt that it was bragging, and I didn't want to do that. And then they wanted, I didn't even want to write this book to begin with. But the authorities thought I should, and they thought I should start the beginning of my life to see what kind of life I had and how a con artist can take everything from you.
The authorities wanted you to write this book? Mm-hmm. Anita says her daughter resents her for getting involved with Art after she was warned to stay away and not give him any money. So we're going to meet her daughter and find out what she has to say about that when we come back.
The relationship I once had with my mother has been ruined. There's trust issues, there's been lies, deceit. I don't know how to fix it. I'm so angry that one man could ruin our family.
Was Anita conned by a football Casanova, or is she a scamming seductress herself, as some people testified in court? That's what we're trying to determine today. Anita says her daughter Angela hates her and calls her an embarrassment to the family for scamming her own friends out of $500,000 to give to former football star Art Schlichter.
My mother was the type of woman who would give to everyone. She was very sweet and kind, but after my mother started to spend a lot of time with Art Schleister, she became a different person. She was very cold. She was distant towards me.
My daughter would ask me questions, but I had to lie to her because I couldn't tell her what was going on. And I was even afraid to tell her because I didn't know if she would confront Art.
In 2010, I'd asked my mother for money to get eye surgery.
I told her I could not loan her the money because it was tied up in a trust. But that was not true. I didn't have the money. I was lying.
The relationship I once had with my mother has been ruined. There's trust issues, there's been lies, deceit. I don't know how to fix it.
My daughter was very angry that I could give a stranger money and not family members.
Part of that money was supposed to be for our future children or grandchildren. I did contact the state attorney, the FBI, and the local police, but they could not do anything about it. Unfortunately, no one ever got their money back.
I've shamed my daughter, and I've shamed my family.
I'm so angry that one man could ruin our family. My mother trusted Art. He took everything she owned. I'm furious about it. I don't like it, and I hope Art Schleister burns in hell. I have a hard time, even today, still trying to trust her. My mother didn't think about anybody else's feelings in this situation.
Angela, thanks for being here. When you warned her about this, you were very straight about it, right? You just said, you should not be involved with this guy. You should not give him one dime.
The first time my brother actually told her, do not talk to this man, do not invite him to my birthday party, stay away from him. And I was actually staying at her house at that time and had answered the phone. And it was a man's voice, and he was talking, I want to say sexy, and he thought I was my mom, and I said, sorry, this is Angela, not Anita. And his voice changed after that, became more professional.
What did she say?
She was in denial. She was in denial. She was just like, well, it's no big deal. I'm not involved with him. She just lied to me.
You didn't know she was giving him the money.
I heard it through the grapevine in the beginning, that there was a possibility that she was having a relationship with him and giving him money.
We kind of compiled a list of the people that were scammed by her, she says, at the insistence of him. You know, friend, $90,000. Former housekeeper, $85,000. Personal trainer, $30,000. Friend, $20,000. Housekeeper's mother, $10,000. Friend, $50,000. Friend, $30,000. Friend, $28,000. Singer, $10,000. Friend, $31,000. Friend, $25,000. Former teacher, $10,000. Maintenance worker, $14,000. An employee, $39,000. Truck driver, $20,000. I mean, it just goes on and on for a grand total of $898,300. These were real, everyday people that were emptying savings accounts to give you the money. And you knew you were lying to them when you were telling them what you were telling them, right?
I believed it because he was paying sometimes, and it was coming through. But then then he stopped paying, and that's when I didn't know what to do or where to go. And then eventually it had to stop.
Well, one of those former friends even wrote Anita a letter. And it says, Anita, what were you thinking? You are one of the dumbest people on earth, or you were in love with the guy. You scammed your friends and family, so you should go to jail along with Art.
He used to say, I want you to fall in love with me so that you won't turn me in.
When somebody says, I want you to fall in love with me so you don't turn me in.
I said, what are you doing wrong?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, a daughter confronts her mom.
Do you know who her father is?
It's not the guy she thinks it is.
Then on Monday, an exclusive Inside the OJ series.
It's not 100% factual.
That's Monday.
a lot of people here, particularly those that felt the sting of losing this money, they're asking the same question I'm asking, which is motive. And saying you're either in love with him, or so they're trying to say, why? Why? You had your son, you had your daughter, you had...
she had everything.
Bells going off in your head.
I didn't love him. He used to say, I want you to fall in love with me so that you won't turn me in. And I said, well, what are you doing wrong? You're going to pay everybody back. I don't understand. I didn't understand why people... I wasn't in love with him, and that's not why I did it, truly. I thought he would pay back.
But take me through this moment. When somebody says, I want you to fall in love with me so you don't turn me in.
I said, what are you doing wrong? I said, what are you doing wrong? Dr. Phil, I got it.
Is that not, I don't know, a clue? Is that not a clue?
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
And you say, oh, what are you doing wrong? What?
Okay. I was working with...
I'm shoveling cash at you with both hands. That would go on my short list of what he was doing wrong. Wouldn't that? Come on. Give me a credible explanation for what you were saying to yourself at the time. That's what I'm looking for, is just a credible explanation for what you were saying to yourself at the time.
At that time, I was working undercover with the police then.
No. Let's go back.
But that's what I was saying. He was saying he wanted me to fall in love with him. They even had me telling him that I loved him, which I didn't. I said to them, I do not love him. But you've got to tell him that to find out where the money's going. You have to lead him on.
Okay, my point here is, now, I don't know how much money you thought you had, but I have to tell you, Anita, this is a material amount of money to anybody I know. Now, maybe I have poor friends. And I know I'm just a country boy from Texas, but this is a material amount of money to me. Yeah. I would have circled that, but it's up too high. Here's one. This is a material amount of money. You're telling me at no time in that year where you're shoveling this guy hundreds of thousands of dollars, there's no time in there where you say, wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. This guy just shows up after 30 years and I'm shoveling hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have to give me a credible explanation of what you were saying to yourself. See, I think if I can get you to answer this question for me, you will answer it for you. And if you answer it for you, then maybe I will believe that you won't do this again with him or someone else.
Oh, I'm not going to do this again with anyone.
Oh, you already said you would.
Oh, I'm not going to, though. I'm not going to. I'm not.
Did you ever tell him no?
Yes, I did, and that's when he would say, okay, well, then you can't help me put the fires out. I'm going to jail, then you won't get any of your money back then.
Okay, well, we'll miss you. What are you... Why would you say you're not in love with him?
No.
You have your own family to think of.
Yes.
And he says, okay, so if you're not going to continue to give me an average of $200,000 a month, I'm going to jail. Then... bye.
I don't really have an answer for myself. That's why I beat myself up about it all the time. Why did I allow that? Why? I don't know why. I was so weak.
Well, maybe you were in love with him.
If I was, I didn't know it. I truly did not love the man.
And you never...
I didn't have any feelings.
You never had sex with this guy.
I never did. I never did.
Okay, well, we're going to meet Anita's former housekeeper and friend who says Anita scammed her out of $85,000. A housekeeper scammed out of $85,000. We'll be right back.
If you are
going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL.
I worked for Anita and her husband as their housekeeper. They treated me like I was part of the family. Anita borrowed $85,000 in a course of a week. Anita never paid us back a dime. The checks never cleared. It's terrible. I never dreamed that this would happen to me, not by a friend. It's been hard because my husband and I have worked hard for what we have, and part of that has been taken away. We will never get that money back.
Well, Anita's housekeeper of 12 and a half years, Sue, says she took out a home equity loan and handed over the cash. Sue, thank you for joining us. What were you giving her the money for? What was the explanation to you?
She said she had a chance to buy Super Bowl tickets for her family, and she could not get to her investment. Asked me if I could loan her the $5,000. And I was just thrilled to be able to help her. And I knew she had money. I knew her husband had passed away and had left her a large amount of money. So I knew she had it somewhere.
Were you buying Super Bowl tickets?
No, I was not.
Okay, so that was a lie.
That was one of the scripts the A wrote for me.
Okay. He told you to say that?
Yes.
And then how'd the $85,000 come up?
It all happened like within a week. She wanted more. I can buy more tickets and I can make you some money, but you can only get a certain amount from the bank each time. And I think the most they would give us in one day would be like $10,000.
Are you getting cash?
Yes. We go to the bank, get cash. She had to have cash. Okay. We went to the bank, we'd get $10,000 maybe out, give it to her. And she said, oh, and we'd go to another bank and we get more money out there. We did it. Well, no explanation.
You trusted her.
I trusted her, exactly.
So how much of that $85,000 do you still owe?
I think the loan is down to $77,000.
You haven't paid her back, right?
No.
Why not? You don't have it?
No, I do not. And
the court ordered you to pay restitution, but you challenged that in court and said I shouldn't be made to pay restitution because I've taken bankruptcy, so that should be discharged. I shouldn't have to pay anybody back.
I don't know that. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm very naive. I didn't. Is that what the attorney said?
Because this woman down here deserves to have her money back.
She does. She does. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this. I'm putting my heart and my soul and everything out here. I'm doing this.
The court ordered the defendant to complete 100 hours of community service, pay a fine of $5,000 plus court costs, and pay restitution of $426,800 to 19 listed victims. Defendant challenged the authority of court to order restitution because the money stolen have been listed as debts and discharged in the United States Bankruptcy Court. All of the debts involving the victims were discharged. Defendant argues the court cannot order restitution because the debt no longer exists.
I thought they ordered her to pay back.
No, she thinks she does.
I do.
The court kicked that motion to the curb and said, you got to pay them back.
That's right.
They discharged your motion. They said, no, you're going to pay them back.
And that's fine with me. Okay. That's fine with me. That's fine. I want that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this. I have so much guilt because I allowed somebody to control me like that, and I didn't have the strength to stand up, but I'm standing up now to get those people paid back no matter what.
You're going to pay these people back?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're going to pay Sue back?
Oh, I can't wait. I dream of the day I can walk over to them and say, here's the check, and pay everybody out. That's when my guilt will be gone.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm fighting every day now. We're
going to find out what Sue told us backstage about Anita's relationship with Art when we come back. Closed captioning provided by...
No junk food, please.
Go for the True Moo! It's delicious!
And nutritious, with no artificial growth hormones.
True Moo, a truly good thing.
Want to get something off your chest? Sign up for the drphil.com community and weigh in on your favorite episodes and share your personal stories with other community members. Plus, get started on your own blog to share your thoughts on the topics that interest you most. I'll be reading those message boards. Log on to drphil.com today. Well, I'm back with Anita, Angela, and Sue. And the book is Quarterback Sneak. And it's written by Anita, and it is an interesting read. It is well done. I've read it cover to cover, and it is an interesting read, and it was well written. And your commitment is that the proceeds of this book go to pay back the victims of these crimes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I'm glad to hear you say that, Sue. I've been trying to get to the motive here. Why would somebody do this?
I don't know.
Do you think she was in love with him?
She says to me, oh, guess who I'm seeing? I don't know. She says, I'm seeing Art Schleicher, but don't tell I don't want my family to know. She was proud of that. Guess who I'm seeing? It's like, you know.
So she was bragging about it?
Yeah, yeah.
I was. I met Art Schleicher, is how I felt at the time. And, but I'd never had a relationship with him, and I never had an affair with him.
Yeah, you may not have had an affair, but you got screwed. Just saying.
I set you up on that one. Oh, my God.
I do recommend people read it, and for two reasons. I think it's an interesting read, and I do trust that you will give the money back to the people. So there's two reasons to buy that book.
Yeah,
I hope you do. Yes.
I'm hoping that someone will make it into a movie. That way, definitely will. Everybody's saying it would be a good movie, and I am taking no money from this for any income coming in. Yeah. And so I'm working very hard at this.
Well, let's see if we can get these victims whole first.
That's what's going to be first. No, that's first.
I hope that happens, and I wish you well with that.
Thank you, and your staff has been wonderful, and I appreciate this opportunity very much.
Angela, thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much. I want to thank all of my guests. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.